Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the best show on the planet. You're here with me and George, sat in the garden, beautiful, somewhat sunny day. No. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Sunday Sessions with me and George in the garden. Today we are making a Vietnamese pancake. You guys may not know, but we shoot these recipes in blocks, and as this is the first recipe of today's shoot, I thought why not go for something that was like brunchy, right? It's about 10:30, it's brunch time, you get me? I've eaten many a Vietnamese pancake, mostly on Kingsland Road. I went out with Hus recently, there goes the white pepper. Went out with Hus recently and he took me to a place that was like a little taco. For those of you that don't know, it's basically a crepe made with turmeric and coconut milk. Normally chicken on the inside. Today we're doing pork and prawn, a couple of bean sprouts. We're gonna make a little dipping sauce and then you serve them in like lettuce cups. Sounds like a long thing, but really, piece of fucking piss. We're gonna start off by doing the batter because we need the batter to be able to sit and relax and rest, right? So, in here, I've got some rice flour. So this means that they're gluten-free for all you GFs. All right, babes. You all right? It's just rice flour, Dens. Why have they wrapped this twice? Just making an absolute fucking mess. Right, so we're gonna go in. I'm gonna make enough batter to probably do two. And that's probably 200 grams of rice flour. Then we're gonna go in with like half a tablespoon of turmeric. And this is just for color, right? A crack of salt. Got a little bit of MSG. Normally for a crepe batter, you'd use butter, milk, and eggs, right? But here, we're using coconut milk as one of our wet parts. We're not using all of this coconut milk. Just gonna pour it in and give it a little mix. So I want you to pour enough coconut milk in to bring it together to make like a stiff, gloopy consistency, like this. See it? It's almost like an American pancake batter instead of a crepe. We want to whisk it and knock out any bits of clumpy rice flour, scrape the bowl. We've got a good yellow going. I'm going to add a tiny bit. Fuck it, we've got a whole can of coconut milk. And then bring all the coconut milk together. I've put in 100 ml of coconut milk in here. So, yes, I could have weighed this out and given you an actual recipe, but you need to just know how to see things when they're the right consistency. So look, this is fucking loose, right? Which means we're gonna be allowed to make crispy edge crepes, yeah? So, where there's rice in this, where there's rice flour in this and it's glutinous, we need to make sure that the gluten activates but also gets the time to relax. So set this aside for about 15 to 20 minutes. Stick it in the fridge the night before, it'll work the same. But that's the pancake of our recipe done. Let's move on to filling. This isn't an American style pancake. It's not blueberries and ricotta. It's not fucking Nutellas and banana. It's not bacon and maple. It's none of that shit. This is a savory Vietnamese pancake, right? So we're talking things that are big in Vietnam. Prawns. Pork. That's pretty much it, to be honest. Prawns and pork. So I always buy frozen prawns. They're always in my fucking freezer. I defrost them when I need them. I'm gonna take, per portion, I reckon three prawns cut up into little chunks. And then I'm gonna do, I just got this pork chop. I've taken the bone off and I'm just gonna do little slivers. I want this to cook quite fast. leaving all the fat on because that's going to be flavour. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 slices of pork. Traditionally, this would be pork belly, byproduct of other meals, stuff that's braised into pho, and you just have this knocking about. For this recipe, I've gone pork chop because I don't find that pork belly cooks fast and easy, no matter how thin you slice it. I want this to be delicate and delicious. I don't want to do a lot of chewing, but I want that porkiness there. Prawns cook really quickly, good crunch, different texture, and I like to go surf and turf with things. Like when there's an opportunity to do pork and prawn, or chicken and prawn, or something and prawn, I always go surf and turf, you get me? So half a pork chop, couple prawns, our mix is marinating. Then we're gonna go in with things that are gonna help boost flavor, yeah? So always an onion, and this we're gonna fry with our pork and prawns, and then we're gonna put spring onions into our batter because they don't need that long to cook, plus they look fucking pretty, yeah? In the world of onions, be a spring onion, cuz. Right, so I know these look like awkward amounts. We've got a handful of this, a half of that, a slice of this, but it's because I'm making one pancake for me and George. So ideally what you'd like to do is make a pancake between people. So if it's just you and your missus, or you and your husband, or you and your they, them, you can all share one pancake. But if you've got the time, smash it out, pre-cook all these ingredients, make the batter, and then just fucking conveyor belt them out, bruv. Like you work in a fucking brunch section at the Savoy, yeah? Do what you gotta do, bruv. Initiative. I just poked my head. Onions, I wanna go quite thick cut because I want these to caramelize. I want them to cook hard. I want that sweetness to come out, right? But I also want crunch and texture. I'm gonna lay the pork and prawn out. And I don't like seasoning in frying pans. It's not the way that I was taught to season professionally. So I lay everything out. The onions, they can be seasoned in the pan. But for things that you actually want to come to the forefront, for the ingredients that you wanna champion and fucking know that's there, always season beforehand. So here, I've just gone salt. Just gonna roll it about. And then I'm gonna go white pepper, which has fallen into the bin, remember. White pepper, not as harsh as black pepper. It's quite, I find it quite, I find it quite fragrant, almost like floral. But I know when it's there, like it, oh fucking hell, it's the flavor of a wonton soup. It's the flavor of a fucking chow mein or any of those classic Chinese or Vietnamese takeaway dishes that we have. I prefer to use a little bit of white pepper because it's a delicate flavour. It's not in your face as black pepper. I feel like black pepper is quite European in its personality. It's robust, it's abrupt, it's in your face, it's cocky, it knows what it wants. But then we've got our little white pepper cousin that's like, I'm nice too, I don't want to cause any problems, but you can use me. And for these recipes, I like to use white pepper. So that's done. I'm now just going to slice up a couple spring onions that are going to go into our batter. These are going to go nice and thin on the slice, right? I don't want chunky bits because I do want them almost to like melt into our batter and be absorbed. So I'm just going to top and tail 4 spring onions. Can you tell that I'm really high? Okay, cool. Right, so edibles for breakfast, Vietnamese pancake for brunch. Spring onions into the batter. And now what I want to do is I want to make a dipping sauce. So our little bits of meat sitting in the salt and the pepper. Our onions are pre-sliced, and this is quite a fast. Although we have to pre-prepare the pancake mix, I want it to be one fluid motion while I'm working, right? I don't want it to be, where's this, where's that? How long does that take to cook? Cooking's all about stages and getting it at the right place at the right time. Therefore, the mise en place, or the prep, as we'd say in the UK, is fucking fundamental to dishes like this, that you need to be able to churn them out quickly. If you start flapping about, or you're slowly cutting pork and you've not made your batter yet, your night's done, bruv. Get a takeaway, go sit down, shut up. There needs to be an urgency when you're doing recipes like this, right? So anyway, here's something you should have done right at the top. This you can do a day before, a couple of days in advance, just to build flavor. We're making a classic like Vietnamese dipping sauce. limes, red chilies, garlic, sugar, fish sauce into a jam jar, give it the old Jamie Oliver, off it goes, you know what I mean? So, I like mine quite spicy, right? So I'm gonna go, oh, it's got a bit of spring onion there, cute. I like mine quite spicy, so I'm probably gonna go 3, yeah? We're leaving the seeds in, we're leaving everything together, but not only are we using bird's eyes for their heat, we're using them for like their fruitiness. Yes, we want that background of, whoa, this might fucking hurt. I quite like the fear when you eat something that's like added with chili. There's almost like an anxiety around, is that gonna blow my mouth out? Is my arsehole gonna be ruined? And I like to have that. If I go to a restaurant and something's advertised as like 2 chilies or 3 chilies, I want to know that the chilies are there, man. Don't fucking put that shit on your menu and then be like, oh, it's just for our taste. Do you know what I mean? I want it to be traditional, and traditionally, this ain't that hot, but no, fucking now I'm a chef. I get to do what I want, innit? So I'm not gonna mince the garlic, because if we mince the garlic, we're gonna get too much of a flavour through the whole thing, right? We can mince the chilies because I want that heat, that background, that aroma, and that fierceness of a chili. But if we broke this down, sliced it really thinly, the garlic has more chance of it to be fully absorbed into the liquid part of this recipe, right? So we're just gonna fucking smash it and leave it whole. And also, if you make this a day in advance, if you smash the garlic and leave it in here, it almost pickles under the fish sauce and the lime juice. So if you were to eat it, it's not as fierce. But if you're making this like, for now, just crush a clove of garlic in. I've got some sugar somewhere, haven't I? That's MSG, I think. George, do you see any sugar? No. Right, so we've got heat, we've got earthy hum of garlic. I want to go 2 tablespoons of sugar. Now, remember, you can add, but you can't take away. So we're going to start with 2 tablespoons. I want there to be a savoury umami-ness. I want there to be definite characteristics of the flavours that we're putting in. So I want sweetness, I want heat, I want saltiness, I want acid. So, on top of the sugar, we're going to go 2 limes. I fucking wish I was making a caipirinha with this. That would have been fucking good. A little bit of cachaça. Lime juice in. The fish sauce I'll measure in tablespoons just for you guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tablespoons of fish sauce. And I'm just going to put a tablespoon of water in this just to make it go further. And then we're going to do the old Jamie Oliver salad dressing hack. Yeah, this one's for you, Jamie. I'm making noix chum. And the idea is that the friction breaks down the sugar, also helps everything almost bruise a little bit more and brings all the flavours up. Yes, you can let this sit. I wouldn't put it under heat to melt the sugar, but give it a little friction, a little bit of shaky. Yeah. Okay, cool. And then I'll give this a little taste, just see if it needs a little extra this, extra that. Yeah. Maybe it should have been 1 chili, George, to be honest. It could go with a little bit of sugar. But there's heat, there's acid. We've added a little bit more sweet. And we just want something that's like, excites your palate. Yeah, we're making a pancake, we're wrapping it in lettuce, it's all quite exciting anyway. But to have something then that's like, hey, have you tasted me? Bro, that up at hair's on your mum's chest, not yours, bruv. Your mum will get chest hair. Fire. Dressing, let it sit. We're gonna get a pan on. Medium heat, don't wanna do nothing fucking crazy. Little medium heat, nothing too crazy. And then we're basically gonna cook off our bits of meat and our onion. Pour the crepe batter on, build it, and fucking eat it, son. Job is good. I'm going in with some oil. My pan's hot. Make sure this oil's up to heat. We want a fair bit of oil here, right? So as you can see, we've done some engineering out here. This fucking gas thing's not working, but we've made it happen. Pan's hot. We're gonna go pork in first, right? We're going to get a nice seal on this pork, just on both sides, nice and crispy. Don't want to cook it for too long. Let it do its thing. While the pork's in, we're going to get onions. A little touch of salt, a little touch of MSG. Just let that all go. Give the pork a turn, and once it's browned on one side, we're looking for the same again on the other side. Onions don't have to be all the way cooked through. Nice, nice, nice. Got some nice colour on the onions, colour on the pork. Right, from there, in with our prawns. Remember, this is all seasoned already, right? We've already got white pepper, salt, and a bit of MSG on these. Now, we don't want to overcook the prawns, so once they start to turn colour, I'm going to get rid of this mix and we're going to make our first pancake. I'm cooking this entire mix on a high heat because I want caramelization, I want sugars, I want crispiness, I want hard and fast for the meat to contract and then go really soft and succulent. I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to make the crepe first, then put the mix in and then start to build it. It just makes it easier than having to pour, spread, make sure that it's all good. For those of you that haven't ever made like a filled omelette or things with pancakes with things in them, let's keep it to the basic and make a decent pancake. So we're gonna need a little bit of oil in this pan. And then we're gonna go in with our pancake mix, and as soon as it starts to touch the pan, we're going to spread, right? Go a little bit more. And just wherever it gets to sit, that's where it's going to stay. We're going to get a nice, thin, crispy Vietnamese pancake. Oh my God. We're going to go a little bit of oil just around the edge of the pan, just to make sure that the edge of our pancake's starting to crisp. Now, while it's still a bit loose and the edges are starting to fry, we're going to add in this mix, like so, and I can feel the underneath is starting to crisp. And that's the sugars in the coconut milk, it's the frying, it's the crispiness that we want. I'm then going to go in a handful of bean sprouts. I really like the way bean sprouts like wilt. They give you texture, but they also give you moisture. They're a nice crunch. I'm just going to go a few bits coriander, and we're just gonna let the pancake sit and start to build color and flavor. We can give it a tiny bit little steam for the bean sprouts to start to wilt, and the same with the coriander. Not a long time. You'll start to notice that the edge of your pancake's going brown and it's starting to crisp, and we're moving into that territory of flip, put it on a plate and eat it while it's warm. Fast, 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 fast. Mise en place. Yeah, look, crispy, almost like a roti. Right, I'm gonna give it a flip. We're just looking for half. Come on. Now, the heat from the top is slowly gonna wilt the bean sprouts and cook off. I'm tempted to flip it one more time just to see if that presentation side's nice and crispy. Gonna give it a tiny, just a tiny dribble of oil. We just wanna make sure that it's still being able to fry and crisp in this pan. It's uniform, it's half moon, it's a beautiful color, it's gonna be sweet, delicious. All we're looking for now is crisp texture. Look at that. Do you know what? I'm not gonna flip it in the pan. What I am gonna do is I'm gonna flip it onto my board. So when I turn it onto the board, it's gonna be the side that's been taking all the color. Let's do this. And not completely fuck it, please. Yeah. Yeah, chef. All right, so I'm gonna get to a point. I'm gonna go one fluid motion. Off. Crispy, son. Listen. It's going to be crispy. It's going to be soft. It's going to be delicious. I've got a nice plate of garnish here. Just some lettuce leaves, some coriander, some fresh mint. Lift our pancake onto the plate, like so. These little bits of chef's perks. Yum. And that there, ladies and gentlemen, is our Vietnamese crispy coconut, prawn and pork pancake. And then basically, all you got to do, dip in sauce. Do you know what? I'm just going to leave it in the fucking jar. But the idea is to take a piece of lettuce, a little bit of fresh mint, some coriander, and break into this crispy porky prawn pancake, like so. And then you want to billet like a spliff. I like to tuck the top in and hold it. Dunk that in your jar and eat it. I just love people. Do you know that? I love that people from all over the world make little fucking delicious fucking things that I get to make and eat and be like, yeah, man, that fucking makes so much sense. It's so basic but so complex that it doesn't make sense. It's like bitter leaf, crispy, sweet texture on the middle from where the pancake lies. It's chew from bean sprouts. It's hot fire, garlic, sugar from the dressing. Coolingness from like coriander and mint. Just fucking well done people, man. Do you know what I mean? Like the Vietnamese dons that fucking were like, yeah, do you know what? I'm just gonna make a coconut pancake, cuz. And the man them are gonna love it. Big up you, fam. Like, honestly, I fuck with this heavy. Also, if you've never had this before and you can't be bothered to make it, if you go to a Vietnamese restaurant, order a traditional Vietnamese crispy pancake with all the setup, all the trimmings, all of this shit, and just sit in song queue and just smash it. It's a hand job. There's no knife and fork. Build it how you want to build it. It's just an absolute fucking delicious way to start the day. Or end the day. Or middle of the day. Or snack. Quick, easy, start to finish without gas hiccups. And the first one that I fucked up, about 15 minutes. But you can hear the crispiness. It's fucking fantastic, bro. And once again, that's another absolutely belting recipe that you should all try. It's coming to the end of the summer. It might be the end of the summer now. But this is the kind of thing that I want to eat any time of the day, any place. All of the flavor profiles. There's heat, there's sweet, there's crispy, there's entertainment for my mouth and for my palate. And it's just one of those dishes that I'm like, yeah, man. Let me come to yours. You know that one? Like, I wish I had a Vietnamese friend. I don't have any Vietnamese friends. If you're Vietnamese and you want to be my friend, holler me, bro, and be like, yo, Hass, I'll cook Vietnamese food. You cook Turkish food. Let's talk about life and different experiences and just live together harmoniously, bruv. Racism doesn't make sense to me when people are cooking this good food and want to share it with us. It doesn't make sense. Stop being a bigot. Just let me make some Vietnamese friends, cuz. If you don't want to use pork, use chicken. If you don't want to put prawns in, don't. If you want to do it fucking vegetarian, do it vegetarian. Just promise me, yeah, you'll make this, because you put it in your mouth, bruv, or female, bruv. You'll put it in your mouth, bro, and you'll just be like, yes, I get it. I understand. That's when you start to understand flavors in food. Like when you can appreciate the little nuances that keep your palate entertained and keep you satisfied and keep you happy when it comes to flavors and textures. I feel like Vietnamese food is one of those ones that you need to explore. Like whether it's the slurping of noodles, the crunch of a fucking crispy salad, the softness of bean sprouts or braised pork, and all of that shit makes me fucking so happy, bro. Honestly, big man thing. If you ever catch me in Song Q Cafe or any of those ones on Dalston High Road, come say hello. Get me a traditional Vietnamese pancake or something. Get me just to say, well, go on. Or buy it and come sit with me, innit? Cut all of that because I don't want anyone to sit with me. Big up you lot. Another sound system banger.
Chop House Films.
Can you say films?
Film.
Films.
Films.